The following is a compLexity production.
1, 2, 3, compLexity!
This is the press conference, streaming live from the Dallas Cowboys World Headquarters at the Star in Frisco.
Oh, you cannot be serious, man!
You've got questions, we've got answers. And now, your hosts, compLexity.
How's it going, everyone? Welcome to the press conference. We're going to get the answers you wouldn't get anywhere else in esports. My name is Zach, content manager for compLexity Gaming. And always over here to my right is one of my favorite people in the world. That is Kyle Beef Batista.
That was so sweet.
I know, I had to throw it in there. Just new year, new vibes.
It's 2019 beef.
Flattery.
It's a new beef for a new year.
Oh yeah. That's it. Happy New Year to everybody watching.
Happy New Year.
Welcome back to the first press conference of the year.
So good to be back.
And over across the table from me is our fearless leader, Jason Lake. How's it going, Jason?
Fantastic. Busy. We're already halfway through January. I'm not quite sure how that happened, but we're very excited to be in a new year and got a lot of big stuff coming this year.
Yeah, really exciting. Another exciting thing that we had happen is that we now have Skem over here with us. Skem, how's it going, buddy?
Excited to be here. Really, I've been watching the press conference. Obviously, I have to watch the press conference, right? But, you know, I've been wanting to be on the press conference for such a long time, mostly because Sean can take a picture of me. But no, also because I just enjoy talking to you.
We'll do a quick rundown, like where'd you come from, why did it take so long to get here?
Yeah, much like Soren Fantasy, I'm from Germany. I've been working remotely for over a year now.
As our social media manager.
As social media manager. And I've been trying to get into the country for a long time. Finally. The whole visa process took a little bit, but we got there. We got there.
Yeah, we had to fix some stuff there for the visa process, but got it all straightened out. And got you over here, and very excited to have you.
Heck yeah. Our offices are very full right now.
Yeah, and they're about to get
our temp offices.
More full even. The final few months is going to be like a, woof.
Yeah, it's going to be like a clown car where you open our office door and like 15 people pile out, and the next tornado this spring we'll have a full house.
We need our second tornado video.
Oh,
Benny Hill music.
You guys lost it.
Keep coming out.
It's always funny seeing non-Texas people because we're used to it here, seeing all the tornadoes. It's just like a curb or a street sign. Non-Texas people lose their minds. But really excited to have you. Obviously, you're very active in our Discord, so it's really nice to finally get you. Instead of talking about press conference on
That's it.
The keyboard, now you're here in front of us, so we're really excited. We have a pretty good news and informed stack show today. A lot of things to talk about.
Yeah, we're back.
Oh yeah. So one of my favorite topics to talk about and always start the show with is we're going to be talking about Counter-Strike Global Offensive, CSGO. Obviously, we had some big changes.
Yes, let's go.
And obviously, Skim and I had a lot of fun being able to interact with the fans leading up to our new roster reveal.
I loved that reveal.
That was awesome.
That was fun.
That was a lot of fun. I was afraid that the fans might get a little bit tired towards the end there, but they all had a lot of fun. Like the whole
Did you
it's a good
expect
rollout.
Did you expect people to find the exact image in 10 minutes?
No.
I thought people were definitely going to get there, but I'm not even sure it took 10 minutes.
I think Jason expected it.
Yeah, I did. I know the internet and Reddit too well. If you post a shadow, they're going to go out and inside 10 minutes find the picture for that shadow. So next time we might have to like post a fake shadow.
There you go.
Like fake people out a little bit.
I had a couple of
great.
really
It was
ideas
a good
shadows.
reveal. And as I discussed at the end of last year, if you watched any of the last couple episodes we talked about Counter-Strike, I tried to make it kind of apparent there were changes coming without, obviously at that point we couldn't reveal what exactly was going on for a couple of reasons. We couldn't reveal it because we hadn't solidified what the player changes were going to be. But we knew we needed to make changes. It was just time. We worked with Brad, Android, for a couple of years.
Almost 3 years.
Almost 3. Great guy, great talent. We worked with Ye before anyone had really heard of Ye. And they had success at the major and then just tanked the rest of the year, if we're being honest. So it was time to kind of make some changes. Anyone that follows Counter-Strike will know, we were in negotiations with different people to fill those roles, some pretty big names. We made some pretty aggressive buyout offers. Buy a house with our buyout offers. We were not fooling around.
Big house.
And for now, we are rolling with Rickeh, previously of Renegades and Rogue and others, and with the world famous Jordan n0thing Gilbert. At least for this time period, we found ourselves in a place that was strange at the end of the year. Usually at the end of the year, there's a lot of roster turnover, but due to the fact the major is really early in 2019. The end of 2018 didn't see a lot of opportunity and a lot of roster change. I think after this major, there'll be a lot of roster movement. So we are presented with a situation like, look, the goal is always to try to build a long-term roster that's going to be successful. Hopefully, for a long time. And I put air quotes around that because esports a long time could be 9 months or a year.
Yep.
But really what we've done here is we put together the best roster we could for the next 2 months leading up to the major. We got iBuyPower coming up this weekend. We've got E-League. We got the major. We needed a change. The current combination of players was just not working out, and it just needed to be moved around. So we've made that change. We don't know how permanent this roster is going to be. We've been very honest and clear that for now, Jordan is on a 2-month deal. That door is open for him to play for us longer should he choose. He wants to dedicate himself to being a pro player because he's got different things going on, his blogs and classes, and he's a personality and an influencer. He's a great guy. So there's a potential there for him sticking around longer, but we're kind of just focused on this 2 months. So I think, after the major, you could see additional changes to this division, but we're focused on this 5 right now and see how good we can get them in this time frame moving forward.
And I know that Jordan, he's been here this week. We've both gotten to spend a little bit of time with him. How would you say you're feeling about the team? I mean, Jordan's back for the first time in 4.5 years representing us.
Well, it's really hard to say how good is this team going to be because they've only had a couple of weeks of practice.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Early indications, the honeymoon phase, everyone's excited to be playing together. Everyone's getting along very well. I think they're playing great for a brand new team. We've seen some scrim results, and I mean, you always got to take those with a grain of salt, but the team is playing pretty well. I think Jordan looks sharp for someone who hasn't played hardcore competitively for a while. It's exciting having him around. Jordan is the kind of person that just brings optimism, a lot of wisdom. He's a funny guy. He's always throwing jokes in. So there's a great vibe in the practice room. Everyone's going to have a lot of fun. We can't make any promises. This team could go to the major being a 2-month-old team and get punched around by some of the top 5 teams in the world because we're in legend stage. But yeah, we're optimistic. We're going to have a heck of a lot of fun over this 2 months. But by no means is it the end all be all. We're going to take a look at who's available and what's going on after the major and reassess from there.
Speaking of fun, Skim, I know that you've had the opportunity to work with the players and Jordan doing some content with Zach. I mean, you guys been having a good time with that?
Yeah, for sure. Jordan is a natural in front of the camera. I mean, surely you guys know that he's just awesome. Like, he naturally knows how to interact with the fans, how to interact with the camera. He's just a gold mine in terms of content. We've been shooting I think, a good amount of content, a good quality content as well.
Can we get any tease about what might be coming out soon?
You sat in on the AMA. Yeah. That was really important for us because I feel that the compLexity fans are so familiar with Jordan, especially CS. We wanted to be able to kind of reopen that door for compLexity and just CS fans as a whole to come back and touch base with Jordan, see where him and his head are at. So we're excited for that piece. And we also just have some fun pieces of content where maybe pickled quail eggs were eaten. I don't know, but the AMA was the one that you sat on.
Yeah, shout out to the content team.
Yeah,
Jordan's schedule is pretty tight, so the content team worked Saturday and Sunday to make sure that we got our fans some cool pieces while Jordan was in town.
I did have one follow-up question for you, Lake.
Yeah.
For us, obviously Jordan coming back, what does this mean? Obviously it means one thing for the team, us going to the major, but just for us to see Jordan come back to compLexity, does that bring any significance for you at all?
Yeah, I mean, Jordan's been around the space a long time, and I've been around the space a long time, and we were fortunate enough to work together back in the day,
13 and 14.
13 and 14. He played for compLexity, and we were one of the best teams in America. I went to a major and got stickers at Katowice. Wasn't it? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's a little nostalgic to have a guy who's been around the block come and hang out with us again, an old compLexity guy from the past. So yeah, it's been a lot of fun. it's a little more sentimental and nostalgic and emotional than having a guy come in who's never been here, right? Because you've got that history, you've got those memories, you've got that past, and to see him now having matured and grown as a person, as a player, as a man, and come back and put the red and black on again, it's pretty cool.
I think we're really lucky to have that happen on multiple different fronts in years past. I mean, we talked about people like Moonmeander from Dota, Han. I think he's represented us 5 different times, and he always he goes and he's like, oh, the grass is greener. And he comes back, he's like, no, complexity, hold me. And we've had so many different times with players that, they might go somewhere and they come back because they realize like we're a really good place to play.
Yeah, and that makes us feel good because that shows us that we're doing our job. When you've got to cut players or part ways, it's not always pretty. It's not, it's not always comfortable. But if you treat people right and you try to do the right thing on the door, the majority of those players are going to look back and be like, you know what, I would play for you again. Like, I'm sad I got cut or I got a better offer and had to leave or whatever it is. But I like my experience here. This is a good group. They treat people right. They run a tight ship. They take care of me when I'm on the road. The managers are good. They're competent. They take care of my payroll on time, da-da-da-da-da. I would play there again. As long as the vast majority of our players leave this organization, regardless of how they leave, if they say, hey, I would play there again, then I'm happy with that. We've done our job. So, yeah, it's cool to have Jordan back.
Yeah.
Then we have iBuyPower coming up January 19th and 20th.
Yeah.
So we're excited for that. There is definitely, how we were talking about before, no easy wins in that one. So be prepared for that one. There's
I fly to LA tomorrow afternoon. We have a sponsor activation Thursday. I have meetings on Friday. The team has media day on Friday, and then we play on Saturday. And, of course, as complexity luck would have it, our first match in the best-of-1 series is, drumroll, Astralis, the #1 team in the world. It was one of the best teams to ever play Counter-Strike in history. But, hey, that's just the way it goes sometimes.
In all fairness, there's no good timing to ever face that team, right?
No.
You know what, though?
They're great guys. They were here for 2-week boot camp last fall, so it's kind of funny that we had to play them first with our new lineup.
And our first match at the major was Astralis.
Hopefully it's not delayed this
also
time.
a best-of-1, I believe.
It was, yeah.
It was the best one on Inferno.
So,
we got hammered.
Yeah, we got absolutely destroyed.
I believe.
So,
if we do well, do we just ask to face Astralis first off, right off the bat every time?
I don't think any team's going to argue with us about that. Yeah, you guys can have them.
They'll give them to us. And other teams there: Fnatic, Cloud9, Liquid, FaZe, Ghost, Luminosity. So I think it'll be a fun event. We have no expectations going in. We're not putting any pressure on the team. Like, hey, you've been practicing like 2 weeks. Go in, play some Counter-Strike, have some fun. We're using the opportunity presented by iBuyPower and the generous invite from the folks at E-League out in Atlanta as kind of stepping stones to try to get ready for the major. Just the way the timing came out with the roster changes and everything else. I'm glad these guys are going to be on a land stage together, with the bright lights on and a little more pressure than just being in the practice room. Hopefully that in the boot camp that we've reserved for them is going to have them in the best possible shape they can be in by the major.
You mentioned something really interesting. The fact that, we're trying to get them just into shape, just get them to practice. That's kind of the same thing for a lot of these teams here. And that makes these events really valuable for pretty much everybody, really. Yeah. For us to get a feel for these new teams because obviously, FaZe is new, Team Liquid is new, Cloud9 made a couple of changes. So it's really important for us to get the experience against these teams. And like I said, I think it's just going to be a fun event for everybody.
Yeah, I think so as well. And I don't mean to insult iBuyPower or E-League by saying they're just stepping stone events or practice events. They're great events, and we're really honored to be there. But, hey, they're not a major, right? E-League's run a major in the past, but, we're going to do our best. We're really happy to be there. But in the big scheme of things, Counter-Strike revolves around the majors and whatever you can do to prepare for those majors.
Well, perfect. That's going to be January 19th and 20th. So make sure you guys stay tuned to compLexity's Twitter to find the link and watch it live with us. Next up, we have a team that we haven't been able to talk about for a while, which I'm really excited to.
Forever, man.
Because we have some, we're cooking over in this side, and that side is Dota. So right now,
Dota 2.
We're cooking. We're grilling, boys. We're barbecuing. We got stuff going. Right now, they are currently...
Well, before we get to the Dota 2 professional team, I want to talk about our new team, Dota 2 Auto Chess. We're going to recruit at least 100 players for Dota 2 Auto Chess, which is currently the most popular game ever.
What in the hell are you talking
What
about?
are you talking about?
Dota
B?
2 Auto Chess is a game within Dota 2 in the custom matchmaking. How many people are playing Dota 2
I
Auto
think
Chess?
last
right
number I checked was like 80,000.
Like 80,000 concurrents playing
It's
this game.
news to me, Zach. See, we even learn things on the
I know. More you know. This is why you watch the
Twitch
show.
viewership is huge.
Right now,
You got me,
like
man.
90% of the popular Twitch streamers in the Dota 2 category are just streaming Dota 2 chess.
It's crazy.
Who knew?
And let's take a look back at some games that started off as mods in other games.
Battle Royale.
Okay,
Dota?
Dota,
Counter-Strike.
Heroes of the Storm, Counter-Strike,
Yeah.
PUBG, which became Fortnite. I guess you had H1Z1
League of Legends technically as well.
and that League of Legends. I mean, it seems like this is a pretty large list of games that started off
Okay.
as mods.
All right.
Is Dota 2 Auto Chess the next great esport?
Oh my gosh. Is that the title of this video? Do I get 80,000 views? Those concurrents looking at this? Is
You
that-
might. You might. Okay. Anyway, Dota 2 Auto Chess is crazy. It kind of came out of nowhere and it's blowing
Cool.
up. Anyway, on to
Things I learned.
onto our Dota 2
TIL.
professional team.
Yes.
So our Dota 2 team is currently in Malaysia. I don't know if we've talked about this publicly so far. So I want to take everybody back to basically the beginning of December. We had played the major qualifier, the minor qualifier, and then the ESL 1 qualifier from here, Texas. After that, we had to decide to ourselves, do we want to make these full-time players? Because we had brought the 3 SEA players in on trial. We said, yes, we're going to make these guys full-time players. They had come as visitors because they were on a trial, uncontracted, not getting paid. Once we make them contracted players and we're paying them, they need to be on a work visa. So they go back to the Southeast Asian region. They're getting their work visas. Those are in process, and they'll be done by the end of this month. During that time, we've also sent Limp and Z-Freak down to SEA to boot camp with them. They're going to be able to play with some of the teams that are there practicing for the Chinese major, and currently they're just getting some really good practice in over there. So they're going to be there till, I think, a little less than 2 weeks left now.
Yeah.
They'll come back here with their work visas. They're going to play the next major qualifiers. We're going to win it, and then we're going to keep playing from NA.
There's no wood. Is this table made out of wood?
It's good enough. It's good enough.
Careful.
We also need a jar every time we say the word visa on this show. I feel like we should just throw $1
Good
coin
Lord.
inside of it. 'Cause
Oh, yeah.
it's stacking up
We're
there.
buying our primary lawyer's house. I'm convinced of that with how many international work visas we've gotten in the last year and a half.
You know, I actually had a player's visa get approved in 4 days a few days ago. Normally, it's substantially longer than that. And I'm like, the government's in the middle of a shutdown. How did a visa just get approved
People are
in
just
4
like,
days?
It's one guy.
Quick, submit all the visas.
Yeah.
It's Fred. He's an intern. He does not know what he's looking at.
President
He
Trump
just
is buying
pressed
Big
yes.
Macs and Whoppers in the White House. They're just stamping all the visas approved.
Jeez,
Like,
man.
send a bunch of stuff over there.
Good Lord. We don't want to get political on this show.
No,
but
no, we don't.
Visas, man.
4 days is
visas,
crazy.
visas.
And what dates are the Katowice for Dota?
So Katowice is going to be after the major qualifier. They'll be back here for the major qualifier by, I think, February 3rd. I think that's the date. So that's when their next event is coming up. They'll play that. They'll play in the minor qualifier necessary. And then almost immediately afterward, I think it's a little less than a week, they'll fly out to Katowice somewhere around the 15th of February, because I believe that Katowice is the 19th, something like that.
Yes.
For Dota 2. Coincidentally, pretty much the exact same time as our CSGO starts the Legend stage.
I'm going to throw a big
Yeah,
party.
I'm going to be over in Poland for that and hope to catch both of them playing. It's always a tricky situation when you go to these events because they usually cross over just a couple days, and you're like, I don't want to get there too early and waste days. But if you get there too late, you might miss a big match day, or the team could already be out, depending on the format. Yeah, but I'm hoping to catch both Dota and Counter-Strike playing over in Poland. I've never been to Poland, so
It's going to be hype.
forward to it. Other than the fact that it's February, I'm going to freeze my ass. But
Get some
I'm
pierogi.
excited for it. Other than the
Get what?
Pierogi. Super
pierogi?
delicious.
Yeah,
I've heard it's good.
I've heard it's good.
Well,
Cool.
inside the same vein as Dota, we're gonna just really quick. We're gonna go over Artifact. So Artifact has a tournament coming up, the We Play Mighty tournament coming up. Our team is placed prefer second in Group A. And so, what are we looking at for Artifact coming up?
Yeah, so they got the Mighty Triad Agility Tournament going on. Petrify has been playing in that. We've got Super JJ and Mr. Uget coming up in that as well. And so far, our team in Artifact has been placing very well. Of course, Freddie Babes got second at the recent Seat Story Cup, and the other guys, they've just been holding it down. So we're pretty excited about their performance so far in Artifact. Now, there is kind of the elephant in the room, which is Artifact's performance, which has not been...
The game, yeah.
Which has not been super stellar. There's a number of issues that people have voiced concerns about, and I'm not an expert on why that game's not doing as well as expected, but it's something that we're certainly keeping our eye on. We make our way into a game with certain expectations that there's going to be certain levels of viewership, there's going to be certain levels of returns, sustainability, and to think that there's going to be $1 million tournament, which is what Valve had talked about, for a game with the player base that the game has currently, it's a bit concerning.
Yeah, I mean, I am not the card expert in our org. We have folks like Soren and Kyle for that, but we had
mostly Soren.
Big expectations for Artifact. We were stoked for months. Like, this is going to be the next coming of card games, da-da-da-da-da. So I think it's safe to say, if we're being honest, like we're a little disappointed with where the game is. We hope that it has some kind of revival, but I almost wonder if it jumped the shark right out of the gate, especially with Magic the Gathering coming on so strong.
Speaking of the next coming of card games.
There's a little...
Yeah, nice segue.
Segue, love
Man,
it.
We're crushing it today, guys.
Love it.
So yeah, we're gonna keep our eye on Artifact. We're not like pulling any alarms at this point, and submerging the sub or whatever it might be. That was a really weird thing to say, but
Especially
anyway,
since it's
go
a
with
Valve
it.
game.
okay, yeah. But we're keeping an eye on it, and we're really hoping. We trust Valve. CS:GO was in this position going into 2013.
Yeah.
And, before the arms deal update and before they started the majors, the game was just near on dead. And they were able to, do some things that really revived that game and made it into the juggernaut that we know it as today. You got to have some level of faith in the guys at Valve that they're going to be able to do something to right the ship.
And they also released an update in December, which promises that they're basically going to change the game what it needs to be.
Yeah.
Obviously, they're taking their time, as Valve do, but they did already go back on their philosophy of not updating the game. Because they initially said they weren't going to nerf or cards immediately, or they're going to take the time with updates and rather release new cards instead of nerfing or buffing all the cards. But they revised that philosophy, so I think they're heading in the right direction. But yeah, as we all know, Valve take their time.
Yeah, so we'll see. We'll keep an eye on it, and in the meantime, our players will continue to crush.
And I don't want to overhype, but I've heard a lot of really exciting things about Magic the Gathering, and especially us going into that division. There's a lot of positive things going into it, and we're excited to announce that we're getting within that division. I've been obviously playing Magic, forever, and for me to see them do things like bringing certain IPs to that look really, really great. So we have Merchant, Noxus, and Alias is what we currently have for our division. What are our expectations for Magic the Gathering right now, Beef?
I mean, those were our founding members of the division. I mean, we're already looking at growing that a little bit more. The game has just been solid in general. They've been, in most counts, just kind of doing everything right. It's really impressive.
Off. It's really taken off.
And the way that they're building up the community figures with being able to expose people like Noxus or Alias via in-game to help boost those community figures and get them out there. They're doing things really, really well.
And I should clarify when I say it's taking off. Magic's been around forever.
Oh, yeah.
I'm talking more on the digital side and the esports side and the streaming side. The game itself has been around a long time. I was at a LAN center, and some guys had the actual physical cards out. And I'm like, oh, you play Magic? They're like, yeah. I'm like, what do you think about the esports side? Millions for esports, whatever. And he was kind of like, I'm kind of mixed because they're taking away a lot of the old school card tournaments where you show up and play physical cards in favor of digital and esports and everything else. So he was kind of, I don't know, salty a little bit. So, but Magic has been around forever, but in the new form, it's really starting to take off.
Yeah, MTGA just very impressive, and hats off to the guys over at Wizards, because it's pretty rare that you see people that really take the opinion of the community and certain figures and kind of adapt your game that way. And so far, it's been serving them really well.
I have a friend that's in Seattle today meeting with Wizards about some of the Magic things, and I think it's safe to say that they're pretty aggressive and they're pretty flying high and looks to be good. Kind of like our Fortnite players with some of the airplanes.
He's on fire.
Late today.
See how I did that?
He ate his Wheaties, guys.
Nice.
He worked out and he showed up with his A
Fortnite
game.
airplanes. See? Hey,
Thanks,
see?
dog.
Our producer likes that too. Thanks, dog.
So speaking of the Stormwing over in Fortnite, screw the Stormwing. Screw the sword. Screw the Stormwing. This guy.
Boombox. We haven't even
Boombox.
been able to complain about that.
We're not. This isn't a complaint
No.
conference.
What are the updates in the Fortnite division?
So recently for WSOE, we had the addition of Zill. So a lot on the show we've been talking about. People have been asking, are we looking for that replacement? Are we looking for that duo with Hogman, that finding that right match? And so far, Zill and Hogman seem to really be hitting it off. I've been catching them on stream. I'm excited about it. Skim, what do you think so far of the new duo?
No, even leading up to our announcement, I mean, a lot of people could probably tell that this was going to happen because they've been playing so much together online. And
Yeah.
I think one of the reasons why I was so excited about this announcement was because, like you said, they really meshed really well together online. They've been crushing it. It's a little bit unfortunate with the WSOE tournament. We're gonna get to that later, but generally speaking, I'm excited that Hogman has finally found somebody that he can mesh well with.
Yeah.
And hopefully they're gonna keep crushing it.
Yeah. Hope so as well. And we also have had the addition of Mackwood as well. So adding our third member, a fourth on the way. Maybe.
In general, we're looking at Fortnite pretty hard for this year. We've started to see a lot of groups actually pull back from Fortnite. I don't want to go into too much detail until we get our strategy fully vetted, but we're looking very heavily at Fortnite, not just pro players, but as an overall approach to the ecosystem. And our fans might see us going, much larger into Fortnite as the year progresses. We'll see here.
Yep, it's something that we're certainly interested in. The game is clearly a cultural force, and we want to be involved in that. We want to be additive and be able to put our own kind of flair on that and build something. So, build something.
I was waiting for it.
Yeah.
And do they have any? I was asking. So we had WSOE.
Yep.
And then what's the next event? Is there a next events in the book?
Kind of. There's stuff that we can't necessarily
TBD.
Anything we
about.
can announce
TBD.
without breaking NDAs.
I don't.
Depends on when this video goes live.
Tomorrow, hopefully.
Yeah, I
the
don't.
next couple of days, so we better just
There's going to be stuff.
get ahead of ourselves.
I can guarantee you of this. There will be more Fortnite events.
We can guarantee that.
Perfect.
See, that's the kind
Exciting
of that's what I really like about Fortnite. Actually, is that so many people are excited to just host events, including Fortnite.
Yeah.
There's so much overlap between mainstream, just normal events, and then the Fortnite events because they realize that Fortnite is just something that pulls. And I think it's a really cool opportunity for everybody in the esports space just to sort of like broaden their audience. Actually.
Well, perfect. Sure. Well, I'm really excited for the stuff we're making in Fortnite. That was not meant to be done. But it is that time of the show again. It is that time of the show again where we take to the internet. We go on our Discord. We go on our Twitter. We go on our social sites. And we grab all the questions and all the fans that use the hashtag coLPC to bring them here forth so we can answer them. So
Let's go.
I'm really excited. So what we have here first is we have from Phoenix Sniper.
I see a bunch of fan elites in here today.
Phoenix Sniper. I've never heard that name before. No,
These guys are the best.
That's right.
Phoenix Sniper. Who that you haven't met or had met that worked closely with a person that wasn't the way you expected them to be from your online interaction. So basically, who's somebody that did not meet your expectations from online interactions? Beef.
Good Lord. I
know.
You really put me on the spot
got
here.
another?
I know.
I did not read this question.
While you're thinking of your answer, the one
Okay.
thing that popped in my mind, and it wasn't from online interactions, but we had the opportunity to hang out with Post Malone last summer.
Stole
Okay.
mine. I'm just
There
kidding.
you go.
And I didn't have any idea what to expect. I listened to some of when I was first setting it up, I didn't even know who he was. My daughter thought I was crazy because, anyway, you get a certain impression of like what a guy might be or might not be.
Yeah.
And he was just the most down to earth, awesome, cool person to hang out with and just chill and play video games and collab. That was the one that came to my mind. Not that we had any interaction online and not that he's esports related, but that's the first one that popped into my mind where people like when we explain, hey, we had this collab with Post Malone, everyone's like, oh, what's he like? What's he like? I expect him to be this or I expect him to be that. It's like, no, he was super awesome. Really cool, down to earth person. Did I give you enough time?
No, I honestly can't think of an answer for this.
I have
Sorry,
an answer.
Phoenix Sniper. You got one?
I got
Skimbo?
Sean,
Yeah, I mean, you
actually.
just moved here.
Yeah.
So
Sean, actually. I remember,
Sean Doe?
Yeah.
Sean Doe,
been
our
texting with everybody.
videographer.
Yeah, I've been texting with pretty much everybody, right, over the past year. I've been messaging people on Slack, and every time I message with Sean, it feels like I always thought he just doesn't like me. I always just thought he didn't like me. But, obviously I arrived here and I could talk to him, and actually, I think we get along pretty well. And it's just the way he, tapes. I guess it's just...
it's really hard to tell.
He's all about that business. He just gets it done. It's short, sweet, and to the
True.
point.
I mean, if you're going to be everywhere, you have to be brief.
Yes,
That's true.
Yeah.
love the puns.
Yeah.
Mine was actually Jordan. Nothing.
Okay.
Obviously, thinking, a week before he came, it's like, you guys got Jordan for a couple days. Think of some stuff. So I was on, alert mode, try to think of stuff. So even my wife watched me. We were watching all of the 50,000 videos of the origins of Jordan. So I was kind of Jordan, just brainwashed for a bit. And so then when I finally met him, it was literally the carbon copy that you see on the screen. That is it's right in front of you.
Yep.
And so that was pretty exciting. Nerded out a little bit.
Yeah, it's true. He's the same person as he is in his videos. It's not. Some people, they turn the camera like, "Hey, how's it going?" And then they turn it off, and there's somebody totally different. He's a real deal. That's how he is.
I got one. Shazam.
Shazam.
I had never worked with Shazam before he started here. And people, I just remember back in 2014, people were like, "Oh, Shazam's toxic. Oh, this and that." And I'm like, I was a little bit worried when we recruited Shazam. I'm like, maybe he's just hiding it. Maybe he's really toxic, but he's just putting on a face. And then he got here and he just starts laughing. And
Shaz.
he just never stops laughing. He's just
guy.
this happy-go-lucky guy.
Yep.
So, I mean, people have all seen the Shazam laughing gifs.
I love that he's been streaming.
Hysterical.
I love he's been
I'm
streaming
so happy
lately.
he's been streaming. Yeah. Check out his stream for sure. Next.
Perfect. So we have
Road to Dr. Waldo.
yes, Skim. What's been the biggest adjustment that you've had to make being in Texas?
I read the questions as they posted them on Discord because I tend to be on Discord a lot. Oxy actually had the perfect answer for me already, which is just sleeping at night. Because obviously being in Texas means that I actually have the proper sleep schedule now.
Yeah, you were always up all night on American time.
But no, I think aside from that, I think there's not really been a lot of adjustments. Obviously, working from an office instead of working from home, it's been quite an adjustment. But everybody's been super helpful, and the transition has been very smooth. So yeah, not really any big adjustments.
You got a boosted board today.
I got a boosted board today.
he hasn't broken anything yet.
No,
Probably because
I'm
it's
still
still charging, right?
Yeah.
You have a helmet.
I
don't want you to
I ordered it.
move to America 2 weeks later.
Go
be
to
in
the
hospital.
bike. Go to the bike store next door and go buy a helmet.
We have one next door.
We have a
Yeah.
bicycle store next.
All right.
I'm getting one of those fat scooters. I know I would die on a boosted board. I'm going to whiff it on a curb. I'm getting one of those ones that Dak got all the players at training camp.
Yeah, the electric bike and thing.
I'm not falling off that thing. That's what I want.
I consider one of those, but maybe next year.
Next up, we have a follow-up question for you, Skim. This is from, am I pronouncing it Quod?
Quote.
Quod?
Yeah.
Okay. Skim, what have you been doing with your life if you're not working with Cole?
I mean, we could open up this question to anybody, really. It's not really that specific.
Yeah, but you're the new guy, so we get to pick on you.
If I didn't work with Cole, I'd probably still be doing something in Dota. As some of you may know, Beef definitely knows. Before I worked with Cole, I worked for the Dota website, Dota Buff. So I was mainly a writer, mainly a journalist doing content. I mean, I still do content, obviously, but content was my life, has been my life for the longest time, and I would probably be doing something like that. So freelancing here or there, just trying to, get some gigs for events and stuff. But yeah, pretty much doing the same thing that I'm doing right now, except for a different company or freelance.
Cool.
And a lot less happier because I'm glad to be Cole.
So I want to ask myself a question because I just saw this next name and I wanted to address it. What happened with Chef Josh? Because Josh, as everybody might have seen on that Twit Longer, has departed the company. He's kind of explained really what was going on there. But yeah, Josh, I mean, he's going to be gone. He's not going to be working in the esports industry. And I just kind of want to say to everybody out there, we love Josh, man.
Yeah.
He's with us for 3 years since he was 17 years old. Really love having him as part of the family, but we're happy that he's doing what it takes to make him happy.
Yeah.
And
he wanted to change a pace, do something a little different for a while.
Yep.
He's young and he'd been grinding the esports grind for a while and wanted to do something a little different. So you've seen him in our content, you've seen him in here. big giant smile, bright blonde hair, just an awesome guy, fun to be around, and we wish him the very best. And I wouldn't be surprised if someday he's walking right back through the door.
He knows that the door is open. He was just here 3 days ago when he'd come back to gather some more stuff before going back out to his next gig. And came in, spent 2 hours with us. He had a little bit of a party, I guess, the night before he left, and he knows that he's family still, and so there's certainly no bad blood there. We love him. He's always welcome to come back, but for at least right now, he's kind of out there chasing his own bliss.
He was certainly missed today. We filmed some more sponsored content today, and usually Josh really helps out with that. So it was definitely there. But we have next. So are we still going to answer the question?
Yeah.
Perfect.
I just saw the Josh name. And
the Jazzy Josh asked the question, and I'm glad you thought of that. We missed that one. No, but that was good.
But we have from the Jazzy Josh, what college advice would you give to younger people interested in esports, into the esports industry? So we've touched upon this quite a bit. But Jason, is there anything that we want to be able just to touch upon or recap again with that?
Yeah, I mean, it depends on kind of what you want to do. If you want to get in the medical side, you want to get into the coaching side, you want to get in the business side, usually a basic business background is going to serve you well. You might want to go to a university or college that has an esports program that you can volunteer at or maybe even get employed at, get that experience, start networking. I can't stress enough how regardless of what courses you take in college or even if you don't go the college route, how important it is to network. And the college scene is really one of the fastest growing areas in North American esports. So I would definitely look for a college that is active in it, that participates in it. So while you're taking your business classes or your sports therapy classes or whatever you're coaching, athletic degree, whatever that looks like, you can be involved with the esports program at your school. That's the ideal.
Yeah, just to add to that, I mean, as somebody who's not gotten a college degree or finished his college degree, experience in networking is really, really key. It's
Absolutely.
really important. I mean, if I hadn't met either Soren or you, Kyle, would I be here?
Probably not.
Yeah, very.
But we ran into you at like 7 events over the course of 3 years, and we got to know you and.
And that's really key. I think a lot of people people have reached out to me over the course of like the last 6 years. Like, how do I get into esports? How do I, start something? Like, effectively, really just start something. Like, find opportunities, freelance opportunities, volunteer opportunities. Just help out at events, maybe, or like there's a website that you can help out with. Just get experience and then transition that or translate that experience to networking and just try to meet people that can help you or that can either expand your horizon or at the very least lead you to somewhere where you can learn even more things. And
absolutely,
I think people are looking for an easy answer. There's not a class, there's no certification. It is good old fashioned. This is what I want to do. I want to talk to these people to get it, and I want to be in it. Simple as that. People I think just want to take a class or certification and just jump in the industry, and that's certainly not this.
And to complement what you said with just general business is always going to be good. It's going to serve you in a good fashion. Once you have that degree or you've got that experience in that, know what you want to do. If you're applying for a job, know what you want to do. If I get an email from somebody and says, I'll do anything, I have 20 positions in my head, and I'm like, well, this guy can do anything. He's going to go in the pile of 1,000 other people that say I can do anything.
Yeah.
Whereas even if you're just like, you're a 5 out of 10 at everything, but you're 6 out of 10 at one thing, give me that one thing. Say, hey, I feel that I have experience in this. This is my specific experience here. This is my portfolio. If you have positions for this, I get so few that are very specific as to what they want to do as compared to the people who do everything. I've never hired somebody based on them coming and say, I will do anything. But when I get applications for a video editor, I'm like, okay, there's 17 applications for a video editor, and those are the first things that I look at when we're going to go hire a video editor. I'm not going to go into the pile of 1,000 that says we'll do anything.
For sure. All right, next.
Next question we have from Mr. Spider. Now that it's been out for a few weeks, what are your thoughts on Danger Zone, and do you think it has any esports potential? Has any changes been made to it?
I will be really blunt about this. My thoughts are nothing because I don't think about it.
No, exactly.
Yeah, it made a splash for a few days and
few hours
disappeared. It was kind of a hot mess. Some people are having fun in it, but unless they really put some effort into it, I don't see it being a whole lot.
I think the closest thing you could get, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. The closest thing you can get is maybe a show match, and that would be a stretch.
At this point, I think Artifact and Danger Zone are on a race to the bottom.
Woof. I think Danger Zone really won that one, which is incredible, but it did.
Yeah.
Well, perfect.
Possibly.
Next up, we have Tyson P. Fitz. How was everyone's break? Now, so we don't go on a huge tangent with everyone, let's just real quickly, let's go around and we'll talk about one thing that we did on our break. Beef, how was your break and what did you do?
I went home to see my family, and I got to see them, and I played FIFA.
It's an understatement.
I took my kids to New York because they wanted to see a whole New York Christmas. You know, being someone that's in New York all the time for business, it wasn't like my ideal of a holiday trip, but they went to see Rockefeller and all that, and it was great. So got a little time to relax before the grind kicks in here. A bunch of trips coming up for me. LA twice, Vegas, Poland, just right around the corner. So yeah, it was a nice break.
I just celebrated the holidays with my family, and then I moved here.
I had a traditional Christmas. Obviously, as a father, you know, my Christmas is for my family, and they had a great one, which I was very excited about. In the middle of moving, so my parents moved out, and they have a huge house. And so it's me, my wife, and my child in the house, and we feel like squatters until we move into our new place. Like literally, like the show The Riches, where they just moved into a mansion and kind of make it their own. That was my holiday. So I could do anything I want in my childhood house. That's what I did. Perfect. And then we have last question of the day. It is Indie Boy 22. Since nothing is only playing for the major, do you guys already have a player that you are planning to sign after the major, or haven't looked that far into the future yet? Jason.
Yeah, it's a good question. I touched on this briefly at the beginning of the show. We definitely have our eyes on a couple different people. You know, Tarek being one of the obvious ones that's been pretty public. There's a couple other top North American players we're interested in should their contracts expire, or if they would be willing to be bought out. This is assuming nothing only wants to stay for 2 months. I don't think that's a foregone conclusion. He might want to play longer. We're not assuming that because we're very open and honest with him. This is what we need. Can you do 2 months? And he said yes. So we are actively looking to fill that slot. But should he change his mind and the team has some chemistry and some success, you know, who knows? He might stick around a little longer. So thanks for the question, Indie Boy 22.
Perfect. Well, any final thoughts before we wrap up here?
I think our next player should be Jordan B.W. Lake.
Yeah, man. Jordan rocks.
We've had a lot of people bringing their kids to the office to train with our pro players. So we're set for like a youth academy team.
Kid compLexity, man.
Yeah. Absolutely. My son Jordan grinds and he's a good player. Follow him on Twitter at Jordan BW Lake. No, but leave us your comments for this show. This is obviously the first one of 2019. We want to hear, what do you find the most interesting? Where does the show drag for you, maybe? Whether you're watching video or you're listening to the podcast in your car, you know, hit us up on our Discord, send us tweets, you know, and let us know, post in the comments, and we read all this stuff. We want to hear your feedback, good and bad. And hopefully the show is adding value to our fan base. We're trying to remain transparent. We're going to try to hammer it out every week this year. There might be a couple holiday type of breaks, and you know the cast is always rotating, but we want to hear what you think about this show, and we're really excited to be back. I can say I think we've got some super kick-ass stuff coming out for our fans just this spring. Working on the headquarters. We got a ton of cool stuff coming out around the headquarters, working on some seriously compelling things. I'm even hesitant to get too into because I don't want to have any kind of spoilers, but compLexity is going to be refreshed. We're going to be refined. We're going to be ready to kick some serious ass in 2019. So if you've watched this video this far through, hats off to you. We've got some really good stuff for you coming in the near future.
I thought you were going to give Fan Elite points.
Yeah,
Fan Elite
that's what
points.
I thought was coming.
Fan Elite points, they're given.
And all feedback is welcome. Even if you say Zach can't be on the show, tell his beard grows back, we will take it on.
Growing fast, man. You know, he had the baby cheeks for a while.
Oh God,
I was tweeting him pictures
was
of
rough.
me. Like,
It was real rough for a minute.
Someone literally, I walked in the office and Marco and Pat thought I was their Uber Eats delivery guy. So, oh no, the best part about what is, you guys don't even know this yet, I had to reset the face recognition on my iPhone.
There you go.
Yes. So, yes, please send all
Thanks for
feedback
watching.
in. Thank you guys so much. We'll see you guys next time.
Peace.